Let's talk about American beef, a staple as iconic as fireworks and backyard barbecues. For generations, beef has been at the heart of American culture, symbolizing prosperity, tradition, and the simple joy of gathering with friends and family. Whether it's a summer cookout or a holiday feast, beef is more than just food. It's a part of our national identity. Recently, Tyson Foods, a giant in the industry and one of the largest meat processors in the world, announced the closure of 5 U.S. plants. This decision sent shockwaves through the agricultural sector and beyond, raising alarms about the future of American beef. This isn't just another business shuttering. It's a seismic event in the food system, sending shockwaves from farmers to politicians. Ranchers, who already face razor-thin margins, are now left with fewer places to sell their cattle. Local economies that depend on these plants are bracing for tough times, and lawmakers are scrambling to respond. In meatpacking, 5 plants is huge. These are massive facilities processing thousands of cattle daily. Each one is a critical link in a supply chain that feeds millions of Americans. When even a single plant closes, it can disrupt the flow of beef from ranch to table. Shutting them down creates a bottleneck, raising urgent questions about the stability of the U.S. meat supply chain. With fewer plants, cattle back up on ranches, prices can spike, and grocery store shelves may start to look emptier than usual. Tyson blames money. Their beef division lost $94 million last quarter, with losses projected to hit $400–600 million this year. Rising costs for feed, labor, and transportation have squeezed profits, and the company says it simply can't keep these plants open. From a business perspective, closing underperforming plants makes sense, but it ignores the chaos unleashed on real people. Thousands of workers are suddenly out of a job, and small towns that rely on these plants for their livelihoods are left reeling. Meanwhile, Tyson's chicken business is booming, with profits up 28% as consumers turn to cheaper poultry. Chicken is now the go-to protein for many families struggling with high grocery bills, and Tyson is capitalizing on that shift. So, Tyson is closing beef plants because beef is too expensive, a problem they helped create. Years of industry consolidation and cost-cutting have left the market vulnerable, and now consumers are paying the price. It's like an arsonist complaining about fire insurance rates. The very companies that shape the market are now lamenting the consequences of their own actions. This move exposes deeper issues: market control, political outrage, and the question of who really benefits when food prices soar. Lawmakers are demanding answers, and the public is growing increasingly frustrated with rising costs and shrinking choices. The stage is set for a battle over the future of American beef. Will the industry adapt and survive, or will more communities be left behind as the market shifts? One thing is certain: the outcome will affect every dinner table in the country, shaping what we eat, how much we pay, and what it means to be part of the American story. When a plant closes, workers are the first to suffer. Their jobs aren't just paychecks, they're the backbone of entire communities, supporting families, schools, and local businesses. Thousands lose jobs that anchor entire towns. The ripple effect is immediate and severe, as unemployment rises and hope fades for many. For many communities, the Tyson plant isn't just a major employer, it's the only one. Without it, the local economy grinds to a halt, and small businesses struggle to survive. Its closure devastates local economies and families. Parents worry about paying bills, and children sense the uncertainty in the air. Farmers and ranchers face a nightmare, livelihoods built over generations, suddenly at risk. With no clear path forward, with fewer buyers, they must transport cattle farther, adding costs and uncertainty to an already tough business. Or they're forced to accept lower prices, squeezing already thin margins, and threatening their ability to stay afloat. The supply chain disruption means less beef in stores. Shoppers notice empty shelves and wonder why their favorite cuts are missing. Basic economics: less supply, same demand, prices rise. Suddenly, a staple of the American dinner table becomes harder to afford. Retail beef now tops $12 a pound, making steak a luxury for many families who once enjoyed it regularly. Even ground beef, a budget-friendly option for decades, is now a stretch for many, forcing tough choices at the checkout. Ironically, while shoppers pay more, ranchers earn less. The people who raise the cattle see shrinking returns, despite soaring prices at the store. The gap between farm and supermarket prices is widening, signaling a broken system that fails both producers and consumers. Money isn't vanishing, It's being siphoned off in the middle, as processors and middlemen take a bigger share of every dollar spent. This disconnect fuels anger from the White House to the checkout line, as leaders and everyday people demand answers and accountability. The crisis exposes a system designed to benefit a select few, while workers, farmers, and families bear the brunt of its failures. Why is beef so expensive these days? If you've wandered through the meat aisle lately, you've probably noticed that steak prices are higher than ever, leaving many shoppers with sticker shock. The big meatpacking companies point to a shrinking cattle herd as the main culprit. In fact, the U.S. cattle herd is now the smallest it's been since 1951, a dramatic drop that's reshaping the entire beef industry. Meatpackers argue that with fewer cattle available, they're forced to pay more, which means they have to charge you more at the store. But if you ask ranchers, you'll hear a very different story, one that's about more than just supply and demand. While beef prices at the grocery store keep climbing to record highs, ranchers' earnings have barely budged, or in some cases, have actually dropped. The money you're paying isn't making its way back to the people raising the cattle. In a truly competitive market, higher prices for beef should mean ranchers get paid more for their cattle. But that's not what's happening. Instead, there's a disconnect, and it all comes down to market consolidation. Today, just 4 giant companies control a staggering 85% of all beef processing in the U.S. This gives them enormous power to set prices, both for the cattle they buy and the beef they sell. With so few buyers in the market, ranchers have little choice but to accept whatever price the packers offer. Meanwhile, those same packers can turn around and sell beef at a premium. It's a classic bottleneck. Ranchers are squeezed on one end, and consumers are squeezed on the other. Many say the system feels rigged against the little guy. The big packers can cushion their losses in beef by making profits in other meats, like chicken or pork. But for family ranchers, cattle are their livelihood. There's no backup plan. When cattle prices are kept artificially low, ranchers struggle to survive, even as shoppers are forced to pay more for every cut of beef. This is what some call the Great Beef Robbery, a system where wealth flows away from hardworking farmers and everyday shoppers and into the pockets of a handful of powerful corporations. The end result? A beef market that's designed to benefit the few at the top, while leaving ranchers and consumers to bear the cost. President Trump isn't staying quiet. Outraged by plant closures and soaring prices, he's accused meatpackers of ripping off farmers and consumers. In response, he ordered a Department of Justice antitrust investigation into the Big Four meatpackers. The DOJ is probing possible collusion and price fixing, whether these companies kept cattle prices low and beef prices high. This marks a turning point. After decades of unchecked consolidation, the government is finally stepping in. The outcome could reshape the industry and your dinner plate. Meet the Big Four: Tyson Foods, Cargill, JBS, and National Beef. JBS and National Beef are majority foreign-owned, meaning much of America's beef supply is controlled from abroad. Together, these 4 process 85% of U.S. beef, up from just 36% in 1980. This oligopoly gives them immense power over prices, both for ranchers and consumers. With so few buyers, ranchers have no leverage. Prices are set by the packers. For consumers, this means higher prices at the checkout. Critics say this concentration lets the Big Four capture more profit, widening the gap between farm and table. The DOJ's antitrust probe targets this power, questioning if it's crossed into illegal territory. The future of American beef may depend on what investigators find. Trump is also using trade threats to shake up the market. He's floated lifting tariffs on Brazilian beef and importing more from Argentina, moves that would flood the U.S. with cheaper foreign meat. The idea: force domestic packers to lower prices or face foreign competition. But this gamble risks hurting American ranchers, who'd face even lower prices for their cattle. It's a delicate balance: lower food prices for consumers versus protecting U.S. farmers. Trade threats have already rattled markets, but they come with health and supply chain risks. The global food system is complex, and every move has consequences. Trump's high-stakes game could reshape the industry, or backfire. Ranchers aren't backing down. They see this crisis as a chance for real reform, and are supporting the DOJ's investigation. One key demand: mandatory country of origin labeling, MCOOL, so consumers know where their beef comes from. Right now, imported beef can be labeled product of the USA. If processed here, ranchers call this deceptive. They want transparency and a fair market, not one rigged by corporate giants. ranchers are lobbying Congress for MCOOL and stronger antitrust laws. They argue America's food security depends on independent family ranchers. Without reform, the American rancher could disappear. With U.S. beef processing down, other countries see opportunity, especially Canada. Canada's beef industry is ready to fill the gap, exporting more to the U.S. as supply tightens. The two countries already share a deeply integrated beef supply chain. If U.S. stores and restaurants run short, Canadian beef is the logical alternative. This shift highlights the fragility of a concentrated domestic industry. When one major player stumbles, the effects ripple globally. It's a wake-up call. Food security depends on a diverse, resilient supply chain. The future of American beef is uncertain, whether change comes from antitrust action, trade policy, or foreign imports. For everyone who eats meat, the outcome will shape what's on your plate and what you pay. The battle for America's beef is just beginning.